Good morning, all, to the KSTC.
Good
Today we are
morning.
here. Today we are here. Industry Connect workshop. I hope you all know about the KSTC. KSTC is a Karnataka government initiative, basically to design, develop, implement various skill training programs based on the emerging trends and multi skills, considering basically the demand of the industry. Okay. So this demand of the industry is a very important factor. Of late, what was happening was the training was basically it was all training led. Now we are actually converting this into a demand led. So we are in the process of meeting the industries, talking to the industries, understanding their demands. So we all discuss that we all the skill requirements of the candidates. Basically, the employability skills we discuss a lot. So today we are here to discuss what skills that are required from these candidates to get employed in the industry. So this Industry Connect workshop is basically organized to understand the industry's skill requirements and manpower requirements so that the KSTC can formulate schemes and then skill candidates and supply skill candidates to the industry. Okay, so in this regard, so I request Mr. Rupak Vashishta, CEO of Apparel Sector Skills Council, to deliver a keynote address.
Mr. Sheikh, just a second. Good morning, everyone. This is, I request Mr. Rupak to give me 5 minutes, please. Good morning, everyone. This is Ashwin. I'm MD Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. Today, actually, first of all, I would like to thank all the participants for participating in today's Industry Connect workshop organized by Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. So, in the beginning, I would like to say a few words about KSDC. KSDC is basically a government of Karnataka undertaking mandated with it's a nodal agency to impart a skill-based training to the candidates across the state. And currently we are implementing 2 schemes. One is Chief Minister Kaushalya Karnataka Yojana, and the other one is Prime Minister Kaushalya Vikas Yojana, which is funded by the central ministry. So under both these schemes, we are providing training to the unemployed youth between the age group of 18 to 35 across various job roles, across sectors, across various job roles. And last year we have trained almost around 60,000 candidates, various job roles. So this year we are planning to design our training based on the industry's requirements. See, all these days it was supply driven, in the sense whatever the TPs, the training partners are capable of. So they were providing training in those areas. And many of the times it was related to this data entry operation, then self-employed tailor, swing machine operator, but it was not demand driven though. So we were not able to achieve this placement as well. So now we would like to reach out to all the industries and try to get their requirements and then design our training based on the industry's requirements. So that it will be a win-win situation for both Karnataka Skill Development Corporation as well as for the industry as well as for the people as well, the unemployed youth as well. So in this scenario, today's Industry Connect workshop has been organized. So I request all the participants to to address these issues. If you have any particular skill manpower requirements, you can let us know. We will train the candidates and give it to you. That is one point. The second point is, we also request you to be our training partners. We can, in fact, we have had a meeting with Shahi Exports as well, where we have told them, where we have suggested where we have shown interest, to partner with them. And I request the companies who are participating here to be a partner with us also. So you can set up training center in your own centers, and we will fund the candidates. And once the candidates are trained, then we can deploy them. So captive employment can also be provided to them. So in this regard, I request all the participants to throw some lights on this and also encourage KSDC to proceed further in this regard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing the KSDC perspective of scaling. Now I request Mr. Rupak to deliver the keynote address from the SSC perspective.
Good morning, everybody. I represent the Apparel, Made-ups and Home Furnishing Sector Skill Council. This is a body under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and NSTC. Now, basically, as you all know, that the apparel sector is right now passing through a very, very difficult time, like any other, sector. We are passing through really difficult time, whereby, first of all, the orders have been, some orders cancelled. The buyers have been demanding extra discount and other things. On the other side, the labor has migrated, and a lot of problems related to skilled labor. Earlier also, we were facing paucity of skilled manpower, but right now the scarcity has become more in view of this pandemic. Nevertheless, basically, the industry is less aware of the various schemes which the government has actually initiated. And the best part is that since you are in Karnataka, and the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation is right one step ahead, just a call away. And so today's workshop basically is to acquaint you with the various kind of schemes which the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation can actually they initiate, and they can help you out. They'll hear you out basically as to what exactly would be your requirement and what kind of trainings or what kind of skilled manpower do you require. And before that, I'll be taking a very short time to acquaint you with two schemes of the government, basically, it's known, apprenticeship, let's say. The first scheme is apprenticeship scheme. Everybody knows that apprenticeship scheme is prevalent in the country right from ages. From decades, this apprenticeship scheme is going on. But basically, earlier, the apprenticeship used to be taken as a kind of a burden earlier. But right now, the government has actually, eased it out so much that it's not only easy to operate, it's beneficial financially now. This is the best part, that basically the apprenticeship scheme actually brings you a net saving. We'll be able to, in fact, on some other day, we'll be able to, we'll organize a kind of a separate workshop for detailed kind of, demonstration as to how, with the simple apprenticeship scheme. Can you believe that with a simple apprenticeship scheme, your 15% of the manpower can be hired or can be actually taken at almost 50% of the cost? So this is the best part. This is the best part that, now, first of all, this is mandatory. Basically, up to 29, workers, if you have up to 29 workers, it's optional. But if you have more than 30 workers, it's mandatory. So, in any case, all the organizations have to, in any case, employ or appoint, engage, apprentices. So basically, up to, only thing is 2% to 15%. So minimum 2% in any case, 2% of the manpower, you'll have to engage, apprentices. But the best part is that look at the ease which the government has actually brought in. Now, the best part is that everything is, if you engage people, you will be paid. You'll be paid something, So, and the best part again is that stipend is also much below the minimum wage. And you don't need to actually pay PF or ESI along with that. So you save a lot on this. Now the question comes that, a lot of us are basically from the export community. So export houses. So a lot of compliance clauses are there in which you have to pay minimum wages. And the buyer normally, earlier didn't used to agree that if anybody is getting less than the minimum wage, then the compliance, audit goes for a 6 in the sense that you don't get the orders. No more now, because the government has allowed us to even pay minimum wages also. If we want to actually engage apprentices at the, whatever government has fixed the minimum, stipend, the stipend which needs to be paid to the apprentices. But basically people or export houses are free to engage apprentices by paying even the minimum wage and PF and ESI. Still, a sum of 1,500 rupees per person would be refunded to you. Now that's the best part out of it. If you don't want to pay minimum wage, you can pay the stipend as per the government, which is much lower than the minimum wage. If you wish to pay minimum wage, you are free to pay minimum wage along with the PF and ESI. Now, another thing is very important. Normally these, the units or any organization is a bit scared of, the Inspector Raj, we call it. The assistant apprenticeship advisor normally comes over and things are, regulated as per that. The best part again is that the government has actually given these powers to all the CEOs of the sector skill councils. Now, I am now, along with the CEO of the Apparel Sector Skill Council, I also hold the position of Joint Apprenticeship Advisor. So basically, any problem, any dealing with the Apprentices Act, the CEO of the Apparel Sector Skill Council would actually be there to address. So that, and we are amongst you only, in the sense we are an industry body. So the question is that the government has eased out a lot of processes, especially to help the industry. So this is number one. So net again, I would like to say that net up to 15% of your manpower can be hired as apprentices. Now, and those 15% manpower, that 15% manpower would be available at almost 50%, 50 to 55% of the otherwise cost. So you save 40 to 50% on those 15% manpower. That's the net thing first. And the second part is everything is online. You don't need to go anywhere. Everything will be, served right at your place. And you can very well, whatever engagement, everything, all, engagement of the apprentices, refund of this money to you, everything will be online. So this is something which I think is something which the government has actually, come forward for helping the industry. The second scheme, which is very important, again, is the recognition of prior learning, RPL scheme. So RPL scheme, in any case, this means that whatever your existing manpower is there, you don't need to go anywhere. We will come to you, or the, let's say, Karnataka Skill Development Corporation would come to your doorstep and basically assess. There are a very simple processes whereby, first of all, you don't need to pay anything for this scheme at all. The only thing is that the governmental, agencies would come to you, assess your existing workers. In fact, during that, there is a 12 hours of orientation given to each worker, which basically there are a lot of skill gaps. Those skill gaps are plugged in during those 12 hours of orientation, which is again provided absolutely free of cost by the government. In addition to that, 500 rupees per person is paid to the workers, and 3 years accident insurance is also provided to them free of cost by the government. And you get a Government of India's certification. I mean, all the workers get certified. Now, we are in apparel trade. Apparel, you are well aware that the buyer is very, very compliance conscious. Now, the best part again is that, with this, you can certainly go back to the international buyer that your labor, your workers are now certified. They are certified labor, certified workers, certified by the Government of India. Now, your chances of getting the orders would be much brighter as compared to a non-certified labor. Because as we all know, the compliance clauses are very, very strict, and the international buyer certainly respects if the labor or the workers, are compliance, certified. So here, if we get this RPL done, recognition of prior learning done, and it's a simple thing, very, very simple, process right at your doorstep as per your convenience, and without you spending a single pie. So this is the second scheme. In fact, what we can do is, along with Mr. Sheikh Mahmood, we can discuss this at a later stage in much, detailed way, so that we can have a kind of an hour or two we can spend at a later date explaining these two schemes to the, apparel manufacturers of Karnataka, so that we can certainly all the, industry players, they can get, benefited out of it. Now here, today's, workshop has been organized. Basically, we all know, I mean, we are all struggling, right now things have still become slightly better, but say 2 months back, we were all struggling with the paucity of manpower. And right now, the Karnataka Skill Development Corporation, along with the AMHSSC, now are at your doorstep, knocking your door, asking you exactly what do you want, basically, what kind of skilled manpower do you require? Fine, we all know we require sewing machine operators, we require checkers, packers, XYZ. Now, here, an additional, as, just now confirmed by Mr. Gowda, additional facility is also being provided to you by KSDC, that you can also become, it's a very, very nice thing that the industry becomes the trading partner, the partner of KSDC. So we can partner amongst each other, and, in any case, you require skilled manpower. Best part is if you become a training partner of KSDC. So in any case, you'll be saving a lot as far as your cost of training is concerned, because that would be borne by the KSDC, or there are some central schemes also, the PMKVY or other schemes in which you can train your workers and get benefited. So today, again, we are knocking your door, asking you basically as to what exactly do you require, and thereafter, you can get in touch with the KSDC, or the KSDC team will again come back to you offline after this workshop. You can talk to them, discuss with them, and get partnered with them. So you can enter into a kind of partnership with them, and the basic problem of paucity of skilled manpower can very well be tackled in this process. So I'm just closing this right now, my initial discussion. I'll be, in any case, I'm available over here. If later on, after everybody speaks, then we'll have a question answer session. We will be very happy to receive any query, which we will be able to certainly we'll be happy to receive those queries. Thank you, Mr. Mahmood.
Thank you, Mr. Rupak, for throwing light on the sector skills, council's perspective on skilling, and then emphasizing on, RPL and apprenticeship schemes, and also helping us out in, reaching out to the industry partners. Well, I would like to reiterate before we actually get into the actual discussion that the KSDC is very keen to know your, our Honorable MD said and Mr. Rupak said, we are very keen to know your, skill requirements. Skill requirements and also the quantum of manpower that you would require across the state of Karnataka. And, apparel being one of the largest employers in the state of Karnataka or in the country, we are all the more, keen to know your requirements. Okay, and like the Honorable MD said, that we are very keen to get associated with you. If you want to get associated with us as a training partner, we are very keen to get associated with you. Now, I would invite Mrs. Maithili, the Managing Director, Vishwa Apparels, to share us what is their skill set, expectations from the candidates. Okay, and also let us know their, if they have multiple units, the unit-wise manpower requirements. Mr. Maithili. Mrs. Maithili.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I'm Maitreyi. I'm looking of HR. I'm a HR manager. I'm sorry, I'm not a MD. Mr. Vasuki is not able to attend this meeting since he's out of town. Okay, regarding this, actually, under the scheme of Government of India, we have benefited a lot. Actually, we are many of the employees are skilled and they have come to us, and we have retained also nearly 60 to 70% of employees been retained. Balance might be for the marriage purpose or some migration level, they have gone up. But I think since last 1.5 years, there were not any skilled program. It's better whatever now the sir told us, let it be in a permanent sector, whatever they organize it, let it be in a permanent sector where we could benefit more. Okay, we have units in Chikballapur as well as in Bangalore. Okay, in Chikballapur, since it's a village area, none of the apparel sectors are not there. It's only our shell apparels is there. So we require more of the employees over there in a skilled level. So whatever they say, I think it might help us also in a better way. We require more of the employees in skilled sector. That is what we require. We have almost 4 units in our unit. We have a washing unit as well as a sewing units, wherein we want all operators, checkers in washing level. Washing also we require an operators, everything Since we have a shift in washing, we need male employees, or else mainly we prefer female employees, because almost 90% are female employees in our sewing sector. Hello.
Ma'am, thank you for sharing your requirement.
Yeah, thank you.
Talking. And then can you elaborate on your Bangalore unit?
Yeah, Bangalore also we have we have 2 units in our unit here.
Okay.
That's the initial one. Here also as usual in Bangalore, we have a problem of manpower.
Okay.
Here also we require.
Okay.
Actually, more or less we got trained in Chikballapur industry more, because since we have more units over there.
Okay.
Since none of the people are trained over there, so we got enough people, skilled people from this Government of India scheme itself. We require even in Bangalore also.
Okay.
We require employees here also, almost 100 to 150 people we require here.
Okay.
Bangalore.
Okay. Okay. So your key focus is on Chikballapur. Okay.
Yeah.
And your requirements in terms of skills are like operators, in washing, and then you prefer male in that particular area.
Yeah, since they have
Shifts.
Yeah.
Other than operators, you have any other,
Yeah, we require in finishing also checkers.
Checkers. Okay.
Packers also we require.
Okay. Okay, okay. And in these areas, you prefer having females, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Checkers and packers.
yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So thank you very much, ma'am.
Sure.
We will come and meet you to
Yeah.
discuss further. Like Rupak sir was telling, we will meet each one of the industry from Karnataka, and then we will discuss it one to one of how we can take it forward. How there
Okay.
can be a meaningful synergy between the KSDC and the industry. Okay,
Okay.
how we can actually supply the skilled manpower to the demand arising in the industry,
Okay.
manpower demand. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so
now
much.
I request Mr. Vivek Dua, Director Vastra Concepts, to share their requirements.
Good morning. I am Vivek, and we are in Yashwadpur, Bangalore. We are into made-ups, garment made-ups into woven, and we are in this field from last 19, 20 years. And requirement is a good question, as Mr. Rupak has mentioned earlier. Things are requirement. If you ask as of today, things are not too good, but still, in general, if we talk about it, it is, we are in, what has happened is migration word, we didn't have migrant workers, but we had workers from nearby villages. So people during this pandemic time have gone back to the villages and are scared to come back, rather than not willing to come back. They're scared to come back, and because cost of living there is lesser. Now, situation to have a trained worker, we worked for 19 years. We had few employees who had worked with us for 12, 13 years. So all of a sudden there is a dearth of trained employees in all our departments, whether it is being, and now what we have planned now is like something very close to what Sir had said, was that we have taken the helpers which we had in our batches, and they are willing to work with us. We have put them on machines to see that, since the workload is also less and time limit is also available with us, so we have started putting them, or rather trying to train them and make them to a C grade or a B grade tailor now. So requirement still remains for an A grade super skilled, and for checkers, good checkers, for quality checkers, even for trimmers, every department, even ironers. So we would definitely need trained people. Now the question is where to get them. So this is where we are coming from. No doubt our scheme for putting in helpers or a junior or a freshers who are interested in garment to train, but it will take some time for us to train them. But to match the gap, we will definitely need some help. And how it's going to happen, at this moment, even I can't think of any idea, because when we go looking for people, they say that either they are not available, or if they are available, they are already occupied. So this is my question is how to get them even initiate. We are working with the COVID conditions also, we are working around 30-40% of the capacity, because once anybody gets it, it's a chaos. The operation stops for 3-4 days. So we have tried to do a 30-40% operation, and that too, one of my unit is working, one of my unit is not working as of now. So how we will go forward in hiring and rehiring, the word should be rehiring now, because those who have not come back, we can term them as rehiring now. So I would need the help from your department, and anywhere where in case we can get some kind of a link or some kind of a data where we can approach and see if it can suit our requirement. That is what in nutshell is there.
Thank you, Mr. Vivek. You actually, in fact, highlighted a very, very important aspect in the whole discussion. There are two things that, the migration, reverse migration, hiring, rehiring. Okay.
Yeah.
Times like these are actually an opportunity to see. If we would not have looked into these kind of, aspects of hiring we never spoke about rehiring earlier prior to this. We never spoke. So this is actually an opportunity to kind of, take a step back and take time in understanding what is going on, how things can be made better. This is the right time to even sit down and make projections as the business is expected to grow post pandemic. This is the right time to sit and understand in what areas we can actually skill people, and then what would be the projections. So if you can share projections with us, during this time. So by the time the industry come back to its normal, okay, and then we can have a trained manpower. We were discussing about other industries as well. Okay, we came up with a very important aspect of having a common training center or having a common pool of labor. The other day we were discussing with the aerospace industry. They put forward this suggestion of having a common training center and having a pool of manpower where where they will have a skilled manpower which will be kind of put it into a kind of a registry where people come and kind of do pick up as and when they want. So these kind of concepts can also be worked out. So in this case, I would suggest you to look at a future, and then make your projections.
Yeah, that we will sit separately and do it, because what has happened, the second lockdown has also happened in few European countries. So if you ask me, they have their second lockdown for 4 weeks has happened in France, Spain, Italy, and all the exporters sitting there know, and US is indicating that there may be a second one. So I don't know how and what projections to make. But yeah, surely we would sit down separately, and I would personally approach and see what best we can do and how we can at least put numbers to what we are talking now as of now. But I think this right now, currently, it's not the right time to give any kind of a projection. Let's wait for we have waited so many months, maybe a few more days. So, so it would have some kind of a clarity as to how things are moving, because for all our exporters, it is a season-driven thing. So if we miss a season, like Europe has a summer season of 2 months only. If we miss a season, then we miss a whole season. So that's how it goes. So anyway, not to prolong our conversation.
Mr. Vivek, I would like to just intervene here. In fact, this is the precise reason why I said, along with this, while hiring the skilled manpower, I know a lot of right now, that's why I started my discussion with that. We are passing through a real difficult time. But this is precisely the time when, we actually discuss and practice enhancement of productivity. When we say enhanced productivity, I mean, basically putting the cost at its least. So, schemes like this apprenticeship kind of schemes, I can tell you it's a net saving. So in this difficult hour, these schemes perhaps could be, they obviously these schemes cannot wash out all the difficulties of the organizations, but they can certainly help in reducing the cost of manpower. That's it. Please.
Yeah, I have taken a note of that apprentice part. So I'll work on that. And that's what I said. We need a separate interaction on that issue.
Obviously.
And then as you also mentioned that you would like to go for a separate interaction explaining the cost wise. So I would eagerly wait for that workshop when it comes. So anyway, thanks a lot. It was quite informative what you have said. And it's quite heartening to know that the government is trying to do something and thinking on these lines and even asking our participation. So it's good. I know the scheme. Yeah. So it's good to learn, and it's very heartening. And in these testing time, it's really heartening to know that there's someone else also thinking about us. So,
we are always there with you. And then the discussion will not end here. We will come and meet you, like Mr. Rupak was telling, that we will be at your doorstep. and we will try to understand. We will not leave you like this.
That's not the case. We can also be there. So that's why I'm saying that's why I say let things stabilize still little more so that the clarity is there, so we can think about and plan it accordingly. Because at this moment, any planning will not stand.
Sure,
Because
sure.
if the sales doesn't happen, it's very simple. Sales doesn't happen, purchase doesn't happen.
True,
So
true.
it's very simple.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Vivek. Thank you very much. It was very,
Thank you.
it was very interesting, and we brought two of us, Mr. Rupak and me, into discussion, and then we had a good interaction.
Thank
Now
you.
I may request Mr. Ronald Diaz, Vice President Commercials, MAF Clothing, to share his requirement. Mr. Ronald. Okay, looks like there's some technical glitch, technical error. Okay. We can go to Mr. Ronald later. Now I request Mr. Vikram, and HR and Head of Skill Development, Arvind Exports, to share their requirement, share their part. Mr. Vikram.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Hope I'm audible to everybody. Yeah. Dear Dr. Rupak Vashisht, dear Mr. Sheikh Mohammed, and the hosting organization from AMHSSC and Karnataka State Skill Development Corporation. First of all, please accept our sincere thank you for arranging this workshop and making some time during this pandemic hour to listen our point of view from the company side. So I'm talking on behalf of Arvind Limited. So hope you're all aware of Arvind Group. We are based out of Ahmedabad. So our textile mills are in Ahmedabad, and our garmenting is basically in Karnataka. So if I say our home is Karnataka as far as garmenting is concerned, so that would be the most appropriate thing to say. So the most eminent people are here who will shed light on the issues that are being faced by the garment industry at this point in time. So I'm a very small person where I'm not going to talk big about the organization and all. You are very much aware about it. But I just want to throw some facts and our experience, what has been when we were implementing the skill development programs and working closely with apparel sector, skill council, and other government agencies. So we've been working directly with the central government for the past 4.5 years now. We've been implementing programs like Integrated Skill Development Scheme, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana program, and some of the programs from Jammu Kashmir called Budan, and some of the women-oriented programs from Northeastern region programs as well. So considerably, there has been a good learning experience for Arvind as well. And we also came to know that such initiatives are being started by the government. So I'm not going to say much about the job roles because primarily every garment industry is in need of sewing machine operator, advanced sewing machine operator, finishers, packers, checkers. These are the ones which are primarily needed to get the factory running. So there are some job roles which I feel might be a little bit of focus is needed, which are related to washing. Generally, the denims garmenting, any apparel industry which is focusing on denims, has a significant investment in washing and washing related stuff. So in the job roles that is being listed, we hardly have 1 or 2 washing related skills focusing the job skill set. So my request would be if we can come together and take some input. There are multi operations in washing like whiskering, creping, stone wash, chemical wash. There are humpty number of job roles that are available in the area of washing, where some operators are trained from the company itself. For example, there is a job role called washing machine operator. Incidentally, we also contributed for the development of that particular content. But other than washing machine operator, there are several other job roles which can be added. That is what I would like to put it across here. If that is being added, generally washing will get an impetus and we can add more manpower into that particular sector. And as far as the programs are concerned, we are talking about the shop floor level workers, and we have done enough work. I'm not saying we haven't done it. Apparel Made-ups and Home Furnishing Sector Skill Council has been just spearheading these initiatives, and there has been amazing job that has been done, and NSDC has done an amazing work. Shop floor level focus has been there, but our request would be if we can focus also on the staff also, like merchandisers, like post-production planners, like support functions, like there are commercial people who are working in commercial department. So like they are not at the shop floor, but they are at the staff category, but very, very important for the completion of the work that is happening in the factory. So procurement and materials, trims and accessories, these are all staff level categories where some impetus is needed. We can cover more number of people. So the current program, we are focusing on the shop floor. So sewing machine operators who are in the shop floor are getting covered. Advanced sewing machine operators, people who are doing niche job with multi-skilled machines are covered. Finishers, packers, again in the shop floor, they are covered. And you are helping us. Thank you very much for that. But we also, if we need to increase the number, scale up the number, we need to focus on, our opinion would be to focus on workers, on the staffs who are merchandisers. There is a big number. They are the ones who are bringing the business to the company. And incidentally, they are not covered. And if you see procurement and materials, and they are the large number of procurement and material people. Yes, yeah. Procurement and material staff who takes care of commercials and shipment. Once the product is done, it has to be shipped. So they have a very crucial part there. And finance team, if you see MIS and finance, they have to have a tab on everything that comes inside the factory, which is being produced, which is being sold, and warehousing, trims, accessories. So the list goes on. There are a number of people who can be covered. So that is what my other point would be. And my third point would be is I would like to request the AMH SSC, Dr. Rupak, I would like to make a request, sir. See, we have a common norms. Earlier, even now the common norms are there. It's really helping us, no doubt about it. But there are some provisions which is mentioned in the common norms, but we are not able to claim it. Or I'm not talking about the money. Here, the training fee, training cost, those things you are taking care of it. There is absolutely no doubt about it. I'm not going to talk about the money, but there are provisions like common norm says help is there for providing food for the workers who are getting trained. And you are also providing, common norm says there is a provision of providing help for the persons with disability. There is single motor disability, and primarily if they are from the special case, women primarily, there is something called as a post-placement support that is mentioned in the common norms. So, but there is no SOP or there is no procedure as to how these can be claimed. For example, an operator is getting claimed, a woman is getting trained. She gets the stipend it directly goes to her bank account. She gets free training in the company. She gets job and she gets the certificate, and the certificate is also having insurance for her. So we are all happy about it. But over and above, common norm says after she gets trained and after she gets placed in the factory, common norm says that girl or that particular person is eligible for post-placement support for 2 months. That is around close to, depending on the area, depending on the city and rural areas, the money varies. So that procedure is not clearly mentioned in the common norms, sir. Might be if you can help us there. Many issues like our colleague who spoke earlier to me, Mr. Vivek Dua, was mentioning, the handholding thing which he was talking, it actually is there. So if you can create the route and bring the SOP there, this problem can be sorted out. Finally, on the
no, no, you can continue thereafter. We'll certainly, I've just noted it down, and offline we'll get in touch with you and come back to you.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
We'll
yes,
certainly
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Work very closely on this, please.
Yes, and finally,
yeah, please.
on the existing workers. Now that we are all aware that workers were here due to pandemic situation, they have gone back. Yes, there is logistical issues. Yes, we are also having capacity issues. It's not new. It's it's there for everybody. But if an impetus is given, I would request KSDC and AMHSSC if we can focus at this point in time on the existing workforce who are working in the garment industry, or some program which we can bring them up, who are already working here, because they are the ones who are coming regularly to get their livelihood running. If something can be focused on, it would be really helpful. And my colleague, Mr. Sudhindra Kumar, is also here. I requested him to join, and he's very busy in the factory related. He's our chief manager for the employee relations and industrial relations too. So I requested him also to join, and he has joined. I thank Sudhindra also. So with this point, Dr. Rupak, I would like to end my words, and thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, Mr. Vikram, thank you very much. Arvind Exports being one of the largest, apparel company in the country, we are very keen to get associated with you. We will reach out to you, and then we'll meet
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we'll meet you up either at your place or in our
Thank
office.
you.
We'll meet you up to take the
Thank you.
discussion forward. And we are very keen to.
Yes, you're most welcome.
Yeah. So now Mrs. Maitri from Vishwa Apparel has joined.
Yeah. Hi to everyone.
Yeah. Initially, I think it was Maitri, and then we had Miss Maitri from Shell Apartment shared her views. I request Mrs. Maitri to share her requirement.
Okay, so from my side, let me start with a positive note. After the pandemic, we see the business is taking place slowly in the good direction, because the business from Europe, especially, we are quite strong with the European market. And I see the business possibility deviating from other Asian countries to India is quite good. So it's a very good subject now to discuss about the skill development. So we are fighting and coming back to the original situation, or even I see that we could even grow better than last year. I see the situation. This is one thing. The next point is, mine is a proprietorship organization, because I just started from zero. I put a lot of hard work and I have been growing. Unfortunately, I mean, of course, I've been taking care of the employees very well, and I'm one of them when I was starting my career in Bangalore. Somehow, I have been denied any of the facility because it is proprietorship concern. So this is something, but I have been filing my balance sheet. I have been in the business since 2008. This is something I would like to take the opportunity to give my request also to you guys. So don't see this as a proprietorship or private limited. The organization is doing, and we are performing, and we are a profit organization. And I mean, I have factories in 2 states. Altogether, more than 800 to 900 employees are working, and I mean, it's going to be 1,500. So you should see me as an organization, not as just as a proprietorship organization. This is my request, number 2. And then the next point is about the labor shortage with this pandemic. For me personally, I see, I mean, in India, I think we are a little bit strong enough in taking a decision. I think we are going ahead. I see inside Bangalore, we are fine. We are managing with the people. I don't see any big shortage. We are fine. Other than this, I don't know what to say, because I've been not taking any benefit from the government. So I can't tell you especially what is necessary, what is okay, what is not okay, because I've been kept away. That's it. But it's still a very positive situation. Thank you.
We are very keen to know the nature of business you are into, the kind of skills that you require, and you already indicated about the quantum of manpower that you are currently working, and
Yeah.
then your expectations are, you said you have, you currently have 800, 900 employees working, and then you are planning to scale it up to 1,500. So
Yeah.
when you are planning to scale it up to 1,500, in what areas you are, looking at people to be skilled?
Okay, I'm looking at, because I'm increasing my production capacity. Yes, I'm also expecting to have my own washing unit, and
Okay.
obviously everything, also the sewing. The middle management is very, very important in India, I always feel. So there sometimes we see things are not okay. I mean, but still it's fine. Middle management and the workers, who's the important to produce the right product.
Yeah, ma'am. Any specific job roles in the middle management that you would be looking at?
A good production supervisors and good quality middle level quality control people would be the requirement. And
Okay.
first time I'm feeling from Karnataka government that somebody is really bothering for you and somebody is really thinking for you. That's a feeling I'm getting it first time now. So thank you for this good feeling this moment.
Thank you very much.
I would like to add something here. Maithili ji,
Yes.
it's music to the ears that your positive approach. I'm very, I think it's a music to the ears of everybody who's participating here, that you have this positive thing and your positive approach.
Thank you for that. And that is the fact.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your requirements. Mr. Ronald is there with us now. I would request Mr. Ronald to share his requirements. Mr. Ronald, it looks like, your mic is muted. We can't hear you. Mr. Ronald, we are still not able to hear you. Mr. Ronald, this looks.
You can log out and log in again. That would be, I think, more appropriate.
Looks like his mic is unmuted. We are still not able to.
Maybe you can log it out and then log in
Yeah.
again. That would help him. Yes.
Yeah. While Mr. Ronald, will log in and log out, we request Mr. Dominic George to share his requirements and share his thoughts.
Hi everyone on the call. I represent Goguldas Exports Limited. We have been into the business of apparel manufacturing for the last 40 plus years. We have 21 manufacturing units spread across, and we employ 25,000 employees in apparel manufacturing. I just wanted to kind of, even before I share the skill requirements or our expectation and how many people we could get trained on this program, I just wanted to kind of share some feedback about the general training programs that we conduct in this space. I think there is a very strong need for us to customize this program to suit the industry's requirement. When I really look at the standard sewing machine operator program that we run, this is for a 300 hours. We try to make a person complete in the space of sewing machine operation. Whereas a business may not really have, we have to take the reality of that industry into account. I think even the best managed companies currently run almost an 80% attrition during the year. And a sewing machine operator who has to go through a 300 hours training program would almost take 30-35 working days to kind of reach that number of required hours of training. During that time, having acquired partially the skill, the person may move on to another company and even take up a job for a slightly higher pay. So whereas if I am given an opportunity to kind of train the people for my company's specific requirement, which may be a training program that gets over in 21 days, then my operations team members also would be very happy to kind of embrace a program of that kind. The primary reason being, they have huge manpower requirement, but they don't really have the time and patience to wait for a 35-day training program. At the end of which, again, we may not be able to retain all of those people we have trained. So if we are allowed to kind of design a training program, but give us that assistance for that specific period we conduct our training program. So if we can work with the industry, and I definitely agree or endorse the view that we need a more skilled, fully skilled manpower. That is where the reskilling program or multi-skilling program can kick in as another support from the government to kind of really make the workforce more equipped and skilled. So the moment they are ready to kind of migrate into more complex skill levels, again, we could come back to you and take the assistance in reskilling or multi-skilling initiatives. I think if that is provided, for example, I have tried this training program. Often my operations team members are under tremendous pressure to get manpower. They always look for an operator who can completely perform all the operations rather than getting a fresher and train him for 35 days. So my most important suggestion is please look at how this training program could be more customized for company requirement, and even assistance can be limited to the number of days I really physically train my people. To really speak about the various skills that we are looking at, primarily sewing machine operators, looking at the attrition, anywhere the requirement could be 9-10% trained, workforce in the factory for our kind of organization. I will also always say beyond the sewing machine operators, we need to kind of really look at skills like electricians, plumbers, mechanics, people in printing. So I think like we had earlier a reference from Vikram, in washing is an area where we could get trained operators. We could have a syllabus there for it. And in quality, checking, packing, finishing, these are all specific areas we could have training programs. So I don't want to category-wise go for a skill requirement. Largely the requirement in sewing machine operation. Again, a program which could be customized to industry's requirement. I have a question for Dr. Rupak. I think I'll ask that a little later when the question hour time comes. I have my colleague Amit also on this call. I just want to check with him whether he wants to add something more to what I have just said.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Amit. I'm from Learning and Development from Gokuldas Exports. So I just want to ask, is there any specific program which we can start for industrial engineers, especially on an entry level? And also, as Vikram said, so we can also start up a merchandising course. So that can be included in this program. Because the entry-level engineers who come from a very basic academic background, so who don't have an industrial experience, so we can design a customized course where we can develop them and retain them. That the attrition of the engineers is also higher side. So we can also think of that as well.
Mahmood, just to add a small point to what I have already said, I have not really worked with KSDC on the programs, and I really would not know the specifics of it. I think industry also should be removed of the burdens to kind of seek the details of where these people are employed post-training. The reason I am saying is often the employees who take a training and work with us for 3 months, they may seek alternate employment elsewhere and they may not be traceable for us. I don't know if there is any such requirement that exists at the moment. They might be self-employed or they could be gainfully employed in another industry. Considering the flex of population and the attrition that exists in the industry, I think we need to really keep these practical scenarios and make the guidelines a little more workable for the industry. Then everybody would embrace these programs and we will have much greater employment creation and gainful employment for people.
Mr. Dominic, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, sharing also the requirement and making a few important points. See, the KSDC is very keen to work with the industries who are prominent in the state of Karnataka. Well, I'm very thrilled that I mentioned the job roles other than the sewing machine operator. See, off late, it was so vastly done in the areas like sieving machine operator. When people talk about sieving machine operator, they say that, you know, it's, I think someone might need to mute it. Okay, so we are very happy to hear you know, the skills like, you know, electricians, plumbing. So where would these electricians and plumbers you know, fit in the apparel industry, Mr. Dominic?
Yeah, I think if I really look at now, we have our sewing lines which are running. Electricians, mechanics are all essential part of our, for example, for my organization, we will have around 250-300 people who are working in my maintenance department, attending to all these machine maintenance and also the electrical requirements. Because so many people we need to kind of engage in maintaining electrical, plumbing, mechanic kind of, you know, roles. The problem is if they can come with a little more structured, organized training, the way they attend to their work will be also carrying a lot of professionalism, and will be able to kind of run this with a lot more. You know, today we are not able to organize any kind of training programs for these folks. We hire trained electricians, trained mechanics. You will be really unburdening the industry from investing their time in it. At the same time, we'll be able to kind of make them a little more disciplined and structured in their approach towards these maintenance tasks.
Mr. Mahmood, I would like to just add here. In fact, we have developed a lot of job roles other than the shop floor. Means industrial engineers, merchandisers, assistant fashion designers, compliance auditors. I mean, export assistants, export executives. So we have already, you know, we have all these QPs available, Mr. Sheikh. So these we can, you know, the KSDC can actually, in collaboration with the industry, they can certainly go ahead because they are already NSQC approved QPs. So we can certainly go ahead what Mr. Amit had just said about the industrial engineers. So we can certainly you know, go ahead with and train freshers for these positions, as well as we have so many other programs also, the management development programs and all that for the industrial engineers, which we keep organizing. So that also we shall be in touch with you and get your existing industrial engineers refreshed, retrained.
Fantastic, fantastic. In that case, you know, Mr. Dominic, we would like to have a one-to-one discussion with you.
Certainly.
Either at your place or our place, you know, and then we'll take this discussion forward. We are very keen to get associated with you.
Thank you.
Fine. Can we have Mr. Ronald? Is it back?
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're
So good morning to all. And 2 times I tried, and somehow there was some technical error.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I heard other participants and valid points they have given regarding the skill development. I have one concern, that is we have already enrolled ourselves into the central government skill development program. One is Samarth and the second one is the upskilling. Now my problem there is the time slot. Now they want us to train 1 month. That is 300 hours they have to be trained, and thereafter we have to take them on to the job. The problem here is we cannot take the manpower in that way. Now whatever we have taken, normally within a week or so we'll take them on job immediately. There will be a specific type of a smaller job which they do, and gradually they progress into the regular work. Now, though they are freshers or whatever, if we are keeping them away 1 month away, our batch setting and other programs will not run properly. So what happens? Our production managers are not allowing them. Whereas the skill development program now is it has to be with audio visual. This is recorded. There's a CCTV and somebody is monitoring, and these 2-3 days ago there was an inspection. Somebody called and said, saying give me a video shot of recording of between 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. on this particular day. Now there are multiple problems in that. One is there can be a technical error where it doesn't get recorded. Then staff in the factory might not handle it properly. Third, there may be a current problem or a network problem. Now, one of our unit is in KB Cross. There we are facing this problem. Yet we have completed one batch successfully. It's okay, but what I would feel rather, and here also, they are facilitating with whatever amount, I think about 14,000 rupees is allotted. But to take that, I will have to do a lot of jugglery, like we have to run the batch afterwards, find them where they are working, all that, and follow up with them. So my suggestion would be like, and I'm not sure in the state, whatever you are talking about the skill development, it is organized in a different way. Is it outside this, like you are training and supplying us the skilled laborers, or you want us to train us separately and that will be funded by the state government? If that is the case, there's no issue. Like a separate arrangement will be done, and from that funding we will be able to run the skill development. But here this funding within our regular work, and then seeking for it with so many bureaucratic issues, it would be difficult. And also the running along with the batch. If it is like the funding is separate, then I would be okay to have a separate classroom and make them. If required, I will take them. Otherwise, I will introduce them to you like the common pool of skill development kitty of state, and you will disperse them. That much of liberty, if it is there, it would be easy for us to run this program. One thing. Then coming back to the current scenario, we are seeing 20 to 25% drop in labor strength. That is mainly because as the pandemic, after the lockdown, people walk to the villages, and many of them not come back either for financial reasons. Some actually were not required to work like them, and they were trying to have it as an additional income. So those people have not returned, and others like they are still afraid to come back. And for some people, there is no commutation. What I have seen in one of our, we have 3 factories. One of our factory in KB Cross, people are coming in autos and tempos, vans and other things. The other day from Handloom and Textile Department, Joint Director visited the factory. And yesterday I had a meeting with him. They had called me, and there is a complaint. Your people are coming in too many, without social distance. Too many number of people are stuffed into one auto and people are coming. Now, this will be an additional problem to get the people coming. Now, we can't organize multiple autos with 1 or 2 people sitting there, and that will be a burden for the company. So, if skilled trainers are available and we take them, how do we address this one also? And department coming and questioning us, why these people are coming, you should take control of it, is a question which we can't answer. Then rest of the points, I'm sure all of the people have addressed it. I heard them all. What else? I think that's it, sir. Please.
Mr. Ronald, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. See, the KSDC has a good number of candidates who are currently trained. We have a long pool of candidates who are currently trained from various places across Karnataka. We see, I like I was telling the others also that I would like to have one-to-one discussion with you in how, in what way we can align the KSDC and company can. We will discuss the ways and methods of taking this association forward post this industry connect workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I request Anjani Mishra, National Head Training for Shahi Exports Private Limited, to chair that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Mahmood, actually Mr. Anjani couldn't manage to join because his previous meeting is still going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just said, because our timing is also, we are going before time. So he said he will join in sometime if we still continue.
Okay.
Yeah, he just messaged me.
Okay, fine. So then We can have the interactive question and answer session now.
ಕೆಲವು ಇದೇ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್?
We can have an interactive now.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಬಟ್
I request Mr. Ronald to mute.
Mr. Mahmood, this is Neera Chandra from Apparel Training Design Center. So
Yes.
may I say a few words if I have the permission
Please.
about for the industry? And first of all, I would like to thank KSDC and the AMHSSC for organizing such an interactive session. It
Okay.
was the need of hour in the current times because because of the problems of migratory labor and people moving out in their hometowns and the industry facing the shortages of labor. So what Apparel Training Design Center, we have been training people into short-term courses as well as long-term courses. Then we are into recognition of prior learnings and training of trainers as well. So in these training of trainers, like I heard from Mr. Dominic as well as Ms. Maithili, that they require certain specific customized trainings for their factories. So that we do already, we are doing it, customizing it, and even in RPL, like it was recognition of prior learnings. But what we did was in that a pre-screening had been done for the candidates in which for the existing job role, like he was a sewing machine operator, then his skill gap analysis was done. Whatever the gaps were there in mapping their qualification with NSQF, and those qualifications were those gaps were identified and the programs were customized. So that was the in RPL also we did that. But for that, because it was a government scheme, we had a limitation of 12 hours of orientation. It used to be an interactive session because when in the industry, people are already working on to that job role. So they required very specific training in certain areas. And with the adult learning concepts, it was an interactive orientation. And in the few industries in Karnataka, I think only 3 industries opted for it. But they were very happy with this because the requirement of that worker, particularly in that job role, was addressed. So like from Gokuldas Exports, they were saying that they require IE trainers or production supervisors. So we have a training of trainers academy where we already do that. So we customize according to the skill gap analysis done within their premises and customize the programs and map it with the NSQF. And then certain training of trainers, we have an under collaboration with the AMHSSC, then we do that and certify these trainers to further train their workers and people in the industry. So what they can do is they can make a pool and identify the supervisor or middle management people and get them trained through our training of trainers academy, get them certified in that particular job roles, like production supervisor is also a job role with AMHSSC. And they would certify once they clear that training and then pass the assessment. And then they are certified to train further your workers. So means with the shortage of timing and the shortage of workers, what I suggest and propose industries that they can make a pool of these supervisors, identify these supervisors and get them trained, who further can train these their workers according to their requirements. And even in the recognition of prior learnings, we can customize that. We can have since now the government scheme of RPL, the central scheme is over. But then certain times the industry asks us that what do we get if we train these workers? Many a times we face these questions, but now it is very motivating that industry themselves are coming out and asking for the training. So even we can customize this kind of short-term duration trainings under RPL as well and getting it certified by AMHSSC. And all those workers, RPL, they have one thing is very important, means the beneficial. that after RPL, when the assessment is done, these workers are given a grading in their skills like A, B or C. So they have a skill matrix developed under RPL, which they can utilize that, okay, A worker is a highly skilled worker, B category workers, he needs some improvement and he may be trained to get an A grade. That way it can work out. Means, and in the current scenario, when you see that a lot of different kinds of products are coming in, like making of PPE, like making of masks, and the oncoming of athleisure products, multi-skilled operators is required. We have been talking about only like sewing machine operator, but if that sewing machine operator is upscaled to get some knowledge of some IE concepts and some concepts about the standard timings and the time in which the operations can be done, that would really help this industry. So that is my proposal to the industry, that they should think in those terms of trainings.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to have a question and answer session. Okay. And then it would be really good if you have any queries which can be discussed.
Yeah, this is Dominic Mahmood. I think I have one question for Neera first about what she just said. Whether we would be able to get more details about what these certification programs are for these specialized skill categories, where we can get it. How many hours is the time commitment for these programs for getting specific skills certified in these areas? And means the second question I had for Dr. Rupak, when he was discussing the recognition of prior learning, there was a point that KSDC will really assess the existing workers to identify the skill gaps, and it's a 12-hour orientation program. I wanted to know whether this 12 hours orientation happens in how many days, and what's the kind of commitment in terms of time the people have to be, organization has to be giving. Whether this 12 hours happen over a period of 1 week, it happens in 2 days. I just wanted to understand that.
Well, basically, Mr. Dominic, this totally depends on the organization, the capacity of organization to spare the worker. Because as we all know that the production line, it's very difficult to actually spare the workers even for 1 hour. It's very difficult. So to actually ease it out, these things can be organized either before the shift or after the shift, or maybe on a holiday. And because this is the reason why these workers are given 500 rupees per person, just to, if they're coming on a Saturday or a Sunday, the workers are adequately, compensated as far as this money loss is concerned. So that is one part. The second part is that it totally depends on the organization. If you are able to spare a person for 2 hours every day, it's perfectly fine before or after the shift hours, or calling a person on a holiday. Sure. Moreover, by the way, this RPL scheme, the best part is that it's not only, just merely 12 hours of orientation and assessment and certification. We have a bridge course also. If you have, patience, the organization has some patience in the sense like that we identify the skill gaps of the workers, the various kinds of workers, and skill gaps. Okay, this man needs this man needs this man needs this. So he needs a 2 hours program. He needs a 10 hours program. He needs a 20 hours program. So I'm sure, first of all, since all of them are working, they may not be dud. In any case, they'll be certainly doing that. But yes, the skill gap would vary. And then providing the medicine accordingly, or providing the skills accordingly, and then reassessing them, and then providing them to the industry. And that is actually the actual aim of the recognition of prior learning scheme. So this is, let me tell you, in zero cost, we spend crores of rupees for the productivity enhancement programs. What happens in productivity enhancement programs actually? So basically, either the process is done a better way, or the skill gaps are identified and the skill gaps are plugged in. So these two things are done, and the consultants take hell of a money out of the pocket of the organization. Here, we obviously will not be working on the processes, but skill gap part, let me tell you, zero cost, this can be done. And don't limit this to a mere 12 hours. There are, as I said, there are always two versions of RPL. One is a normal 12 hours kind of thing. The other is that identify skill gap, bridge that, and then reassess them so that your productivity, let me tell you, is going to shoot up like anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dominic, this is Neera here. Now, like you asked for the hours, I would reiterate Dr. Rupak's version that you can take this training under RPL Bridge course, which allows 60 hours more apart from these 12 hours. So one thing is that after pre-screening of your workers, the skill gaps are identified, then a customized course is created for them. And in that bridge course, only those specific gaps are filled, not the entire one. And then the post-intervention assessment is done, and then you get the final outcome of the impact of that training also. And similarly, you can there are around 45 job roles with AMHSSC. Under those job roles, most of the jobs in the industry have been covered. Still, if you require that out of that job role, you require some other different kind of trainings, like inclusion of more of the soft skills or inclusion of some other topics, then on one-to-one discussion with the industry, we always can create a customized program. And ours, definitely, industry has to spare their workers. So they only have to, it has to be beneficial to the workers as well as the industry work should not be suffered. So for hours, you really have to work out, but you will have to spare those workers. It cannot be done like on the production floor only, you go and train. That cannot be effective. So if whatever time we can customize the course and tell you the number of hours that, okay, this can be done in these many hours. And we can tell you that about after the skill gap analysis that these all topics should be covered to cover up these gaps. But then hours is always means have to be worked out according to the skill gaps. But in RPL, that if you take bridge gap, you have, I think Dr. Rupak, I'm telling right, that 60 hours of bridge courses provided to these people.
Now, add this, the best part again is the three years of accident insurance is provided to the workers free of cost. Again, this is an additional kind of benefit which accrue to any worker. And I think they're attractive enough. Only thing is just discuss this one-to-one with the KSDC or AMHSSC, and then we'll be certainly, you will certainly get the best out of it.
Well, we will be reaching out to all the industries through email, through personal interactions, in taking this discussion forward and taking it to the logical conclusion of how we can create a synergy between the KSDC and the industry. Okay, we will be reaching out to you. I request all the industry partners to kind of, help us out in, understanding each other. Okay, and then take this discussion forward. We will have more interactive sessions like this with more industries. And let's see, this is going to be a long-term relationship. It is not going to end here with one Industry Connect workshop. This is going to be a long-term relationship, and we would, look at the industry to, keep interacting with us, and we will always be interacting with the industry. So, any other questions?
No, this is Prasad.
Vikram this side. I just want to
Mr. Vikram?
I don't want to take much of time, Mr. Sheikh.
Please.
Might be at the central level in the program that we are doing, might not be there. At the state level, at the Karnataka skill development state level, sir, might be, it's just my humble view, that's all. If we can do some arrangement for food, see, it is clearly out of the box suggestion, might be at the AMHSSC level, this might not be feasible, might be at the state level, at the KSTC level. When we are implementing at the state, we can look at some ways to provide, if in the program or policy somewhere, if you can provide an opportunity for the food related opportunities. Like in the second half of the day, what we generally see is some of the workers tend to eat something what is available outside. They are not having sumptuous food in the second half. Not everybody have sumptuous food. So somebody who makes it up some in the morning and they come and they end up eating, and we don't know how nutritious that food is. Organizations are providing canteen, they have food, everything. I'm not denying it. But some people bring food from their home. Some people don't end up eating at all. That is a case where people come to the factory in the early morning. So they are hungry. So they end up eating the food which they have brought it in the first half. So in the second half, they don't have lunch. What they generally do, they eat whatever is available or share something like that. But they're not sumptuously nutritious to work for the next second half of the day. So might be in the training part when they're undergoing this, if we can tie up, I mean, there are organizations like Akshaya Patra, Akshaya Nidhi and all, might be if we can bring them in, there might be some inputs from there which will be helpful. That's my humble view. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for the view. We'll work out, we'll look into it.
Yeah, I have one suggestion. This is Prasad Deshpande from Indian Designs Export Private Limited.
Yes, Mr. Prasad.
Yeah. See, sir, we all are discussing about the development programs, skill development programs, everything. So some of them have raised about the concern about staff training and all. But here the point is we are taking people from textile-based, graduates or
like
diploma
the second half of
for
what we generally see.
Yeah. So for merchandising positions or industrial engineering positions or something like that. So we have very limited institutes in Karnataka. So I request, KSTC, can you do something, arrange some courses in the institutes itself, like where the people are, the educated in some institute, textile institutes, so that we'll get a ready manpower from the institute itself. So that base we need to create in the institute itself, so that the people will come with the industry concept. So it will be very helpful for the garment industry, especially I'm talking. So then when they enter into the industry, definitely we can look into the development and taking them to the next level. But the basic level is missing in the institutes where they are, they are studying. This is what my suggestion is.
You are actually emphasizing on merchandising, right?
Not only merchandising, industrial engineering, merchandising, wherever it is possible. See, for example, textile engineering is the course. The BTech is there, and diploma textile is also there. And there are very few institutes where they are offering this textile engineering course. So if the government can initiate some courses where they can directly come and take entry into the industry, having basic knowledge about the industry requirement.
Okay. Your point is well taken, Mr. Prasad. We in fact are very happy that you brought this point. We will surely discuss on this, and then we'll get back to you.
And moreover, we are facing with the quality department system. So many requirements are there for the garment industry. So if you can help us, this is a request again. So if you can look into that, it will be great help for the garment industry.
Thank you very much for putting forward these kind of ideas.
Mr. Sheikh Mohammed, can I say a few words? I am Raghu from IIGM Apparel Engineering Center.
Please.
With reference to the Mr. Prasad's questionnaires and maybe Mr. Dominic George's questions, I would like to share my opinion. I mean, I am a training manager in IIGM company. Our company, IIGM Apparel Engineering Center is in Bommasandra in Bangalore. We are running this institute almost 23 years. And we have mainly focusing on machine mechanics training program. We are conducting since 23 years about mechanics, and we have trained around 4,000 people. Apart from mechanics, we also train designers, CAD designers and embroidery designers. Of course, we have a tie-up with the government of Karnataka State Department of Handloom Textile, and we do TOT training program, training of trainer program. Major 4 courses we are doing. And, along with that, we also conducted few training programs for IE engineers. From long back, maybe from Gokuldas Exports, we conducted some IE guys came to our training program. We customized the IE program for them, and we did some supervisor courses and all. I request all my industry participants who are in this forum can utilize our training activities. And the question is, my question from is now we have training these training activities. We are doing all the courses. We are doing only as a private institute, as a private company. We have not taken any scheme from government and all. So this is the first time I requesting, or maybe after 2 days I may come and meet you, Mr. Sheikh Mohammed, so that you can help me in how to get a tie-up with you, how to have a like a TOT training providers with you. And I also request all the industry who are participating in this to make use of our training activities. Thank you very much for giving this platform. KSDC and HMMC is a wonderful team who organize this kind of training program in this pandemic situation. I thank you very much and all the friends. I am very happy to meet many of my friends in this forum also. Thank you very much.
I think Mr. Anjani has joined us. I request him to share their requirement.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
It's myself, Sanjay Mishra from Sahi Exports, and it's a pleasure to share our experience in Karnataka. Although we are a leading garment exporter, but from the last 5 and 6 years, we have been in skilling system also, ecosystem. We have started from Odisha, but now we are having a 6 or 7 training centers under DDU-GKOI in Karnataka, and few non-residential training centers as well. So either as a captive employer or as a captive training partner, we are facing the few challenges which I want to share with you. One of the major challenges which we face is the mobilization at the ground level. The candidates are available in rural districts like Ranebennur, Bagalkot, Sindhanur, and Sedam. But pre-COVID and post-COVID, things have changed a lot. The candidates are not willing to migrate from those rural areas to the Bangalore or nearby industrial hubs. So we need good support from the district authorities in terms of district skill development coordinators or district coordinators to make us more competent in those rural areas, so that at least we need awareness camp through the KSDC and their district authorities in those areas to just make more approachable. We want to approach those rural candidates and we have training centers there. So post-COVID, there are lots of awareness activities need to be done in terms of the fear, what they have been. We are all running of the fear of the COVID and all these things. But since industries have been well equipped to manage all these things, we are having the hostel facility for those migrant laborers. We are having those precautionary measures of sanitizations and health checkups. Everything is going on fine. So we need a good support from the district authority in terms of mobilizing campaigning, like small Rozgar Mela. Like similar things are now started post-COVID in Odisha, in other states as well. So that is one support we need. It will not only help us to provide the gainful employment to those rural female, because Sahi is exclusively engaged in the training activity of female candidates. As an employer also, we have 70% female, and as a training partner, we are 100% providing skill development training to the female candidates. So we request you to have some kind of mechanism so that our centers can coordinate with the district officials to make to have this Rozgar Milas or counseling camps. This is one support. Secondly, since you are the policy makers and we have certain challenges in terms of OGT is part of the training is concerned. You know, as per the SOP, only 30% of the training period is allowed for the on-job training activities. But we feel as a captive employer, a captive employer training partner, if for candidates, this 30% barrier should be removed. It may be possible, it may be up to 50%, because, you know, after all, the objective of this schemes of skill development is to get them employed. So for those, as a captive player, I request is genuinely, so this flexibility should be given to the captive training partners, because we assure this will help the local candidates to get employed, they get the salary. You know, during the OGT also, we are paying full salary to the candidates. So, and the first 1.5 hours, suppose we are running the basically sewing machine operator training, which is mostly we are running in all the centers. It is almost a 3 months training program. So if 1.5 months we can train them in swings and the training centers for the basic theoretical and all the practical activities, and less 50% they could be allowed within the factory premise, so that it will not only get them employed as early as possible, it will benefit their skill enhancement also. So this is one thing which we really request the policymakers to look upon it, and it will boost the placement percentage also, because, you know, we are struggling sometimes. The candidates will leave the industries earlier because of certain issues. So these are the two suggestions or requests for our side. In fact, we are happy to work with the KSDS. We have already in the last few months we have requested KSDS to visit our centers, and we can definitely work on it. How can we capitalize? Because we are definitely required a huge manpower. You know, in Karnataka, we generally require 2,000 manpower per month in 40 odd units in our Karnataka region. And mostly they are the two job roles, 80% in the swing machine operators and the specialized machine operators. And the new thing which we are running is the inline checking also, because we are promoting the female checkers in the industry. So these are the two various important job roles for upper garment industry, which we definitely look on to how can we scale up the training and the placement on in the Karnataka, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anjani. We are fortunate to have you in this panel. Okay. I appreciate that, you know, there is huge number of you know, sewing machine operators that are required in your industry. We were discussing about other job roles like merchandisers, and then electricians and other things. See, apart from the sewing machine operator, you have requirements in other skills, and what kind of you know, skill sets that you would look at in those areas?
Apart from the sewing machine operator, we need in the quality department, like quality auditors, quality checkers, because these are the mostly on the soft floor level job requirement. For the merchandising or supervisor level, generally we prefer experienced worker. Those have been gone at least for a year of training. Like we took candidates from the ATDC and the NIFT on the Pulse for those job roles, because the training duration is almost a year and above for those job roles. And therefore, I believe in the skill development training of 3 months are mostly suitable for the soft floor level only. And for the long-term courses, we prefer. We are really want few assistant supervisor for these from these skill development centers. So mostly in terms of quality and production floor, we need in large numbers actually these types of 2 or 3 job roles only, sir.
Okay. Now that, you know, you are from the same town, we are it has become all the more important to, you know, have more meetings with you,
sir,
and then have take the discussion to a logical conclusion, and then
definitely, sir. Sure, sir.
Together in you know, increasing the employment of the state.
I would like to thank Vasisht sir and the Sectors Council for giving me this opportunity, sir. Ashish ji and Vasisht sir, because it's really honor for me to share our views with you, and because you are the persons, we are the policy makers, we have to think about, because the pre-COVID era was different. In the post-COVID era, we had lots of constraints, not only in terms of mobilization, in terms of social distancing, the center space per candidate has been increased a lot. So the lots of issues are generally coming, we are facing a lot. So we request few similar meetings to how we can go ahead, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. We'll get in touch with you, and then we'll meet you. We'll take the discussion forward.
Sir.
We'll meet all the industry partners,
Sir.
and then we will interact with each one of you, and then we'll take it forward.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have anybody else?
Sir, I'm Padmavati. If I'm allowed to speak for a few minutes, I would like to speak, sir, from ATDC Bangalore.
Please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone in the forum. I'm Padmavati, Principal ATDC Bangalore. As you all are kind of aware about Apparel Training and Design Center, it's one of the largest vocational training provider in apparel and fashion sector. And we are here since 25 years. The objective of opening the ATDC centers across the country is to serve the industry. We were supplying manpower, skilled manpower in various job roles, mainly sewing machine operator, and in the middle management cadre also we do place industrial engineers, quality assessors, and work study officers. We have three streams, like one is vocational graduation programs, wherein we have 2 streams, and diploma programs in 2 streams, apparel manufacturing and fashion design technology. And we also have short-term programs like industrial engineer, quality assessor. And we do train every year 30 students in Bangalore Yeshwantpur campus, and we place in various industries like Shaggy Exports, Texport Industries, Syndicate, and Arvind, and Aditya Birla. These are the major players we recruit our students. As I was listening to Mr. Prashad sir, he was telling there is not much institutes in Bangalore offering these courses. Sir, there is the ITIs wherein the students undergo 3-year diploma in ADFT. It is Apparel Design and Fashion Fabrication Design Program, ADFT. Wherein the students complete their 3-year diploma, and after that what they do is the question mark. We can tap such students. ASTDC can help us in getting those students. A 6 months bridge gap can be given from ATDC. KSTDC can give us the sponsorship support so that we can train more students and we can supply in the middle management cadre for the industries. Because we get students, but they say we cannot afford so much fees. For a diploma, they have to afford 45,000, and for a 6 months program, they have to afford 32,500 as per the AMHSC norms. So the students come to us, but then they go back because they don't have money to take up these courses. So I request Karnataka Skill Development Corporation to support us in sponsoring candidates so that we can train many students in middle management cadre and we can supply the industry as we are doing since 25 years. And we are also associated with KSTDC. We are into CMKKY program. We have 17 centers in Karnataka registered under the scheme. And we do train every year 3,000 to 4,000 candidates, and we place them in the industries. We have centers in Tumkur, Kolar, Chikballapur. Madam Maithili was telling about Shell Apparels. Initially, I remember in 2007-8, then they started the Shell Apparels in Chikballapur. We had trained their first.
Looks like we have some technical issues with Padmavati.
Sorry, sir. Yeah, Shell Apparels I was speaking, and we do send students, those who are trained in ATDC Chikballapur, to Shell Apparels, and RPL we conducted in Shell Apparels, Richa Global, around 1,000 people we had trained under RPL, Texport Industries. So like this, we do various activities, sir. We require Karnataka government support so that we can also serve the industry with the management level shortage, whatever they are facing, sir. We are happy to support the industry as well as the government. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity given. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, I'm Neera Chandra. I have one suggestion for KSDC. Like we have seen in other states,
Yeah.
if you can have some kind of labor management system in which they can upload their requirements of training. Like those candidates, if they require 10 days of a bridge gap in certain job role, like they are saying merchandiser, or they are saying IE, or they are saying quality. So it will help us in mobilizing the candidates. Like Anjani sir also said that we are facing problem. There is a disconnect between provider and as well as the seeker. So that is why if some kind of system can be developed by KSDC where the people can upload their requirements that, okay, they want these 30 candidates to be trained in merchandiser, or some bridge course they require under RPL for IE, or so that we can access to that, and then you can just give us those lists and the interest received by you, and then we can customize the trainings or adopt the bridge courses of RPL under KSDC itself.
Ma'am, you've raised an important point. KSTC has a state-sponsored job portal called Skill Connect, Kaushalya Samparka. That's actually a platform for both job seekers and the employers. So the employers can post their requirement over there. As of now, you can have two types of people register themselves over there. One, the job seekers who are not trained, you can identify, the industry can identify those candidates and say, okay, these candidates need to be trained. And number two, the trained candidates, the candidates who are trained under various schemes in the state of Karnataka. Okay, I request the industry to make use of the Skill Connect, Kaushalya Samparka, which is a government of Karnataka, KSTC's initiative to basically cater to the industry requirement. Looks like, we are coming to the end of our session. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes. No, so fine. I thank one and all. I thank one and all that too in these kind of difficult situations, taking their time out, especially the industry, taking your time out, and then coming to this forum and putting this valid points across. These are like very important points for us, very important inputs for us. And then, like I told you earlier, we will engage with you one-on-one. Okay, you can expect communications with various means, and then we'll reach out to you in coming days. Okay, this is just the beginning. Like they say, it's a 30-second trailer and picture of mere baki hai. That's how they say, right? So this is just a trailer, maybe a 30-second trailer, and then there is big things to be done, and it's going to be a long-term relationship. We are two faces of a coin, and you industry one face, and then the government is the other face. So we will engage with you. We'll come back to you, and we will take this discussion forward. Thank you very much for participating in today's Industry Connect workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.